Hello.
Hey! Welcome back after the holidays, and probably this will go up after New Year's, right?
What?
I'm assuming this will go up after New Year's.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, the first episode in 2018. Whoa!
The first episode we record might not necessarily be
yeah.
the first episode we put up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Well, because we still have one more episode in our.
Right.
our-
All right.
like,
So you're
backup.
right. You're right. So probably third or second episode of 2018.
Probably
Yay!
Well, I could upload this one first, and then.
We've broken the illusion.
Yeah,
at
I
this
know,
point.
right? let's just start over again.
Hey!
Hello.
We did not say anything earlier to date this episode, so now let me say, let us talk about the new Star Wars.
I mean, it'll still be new by the time this episode goes up.
Yeah.
We're still recording in 2017.
Yeah. Yep. How was 2017 for you? Because it wasn't that bad for me.
It was better than 2016.
Oh yeah, it was far better than 2016.
I mean, we had the show,
Yeah,
so that's
good.
I mean, it was hard at the beginning of the year because we recorded our first episode in February. And
Yeah.
it didn't get out till like June or something.
Yeah. Oh, sorry about that.
Yeah, that was all on me. I was the editor. We recorded over Skype, so we had two different
Yeah.
tracks to merge together and make sure everything was synced up perfectly and stuff like that. And just didn't have free time because I just started a new job, and it was a lot of running back and forth, and I just didn't have much free time. And now we're both probably in a better place now than we were at the beginning of the year.
I'm better, most certainly financially. I got a new job and stuff,
yes.
so that's cool.
You're wearing a very nice
Thank you.
sweater.
Yeah, I got it for Christmas. Thought I'd spoil it.
I was like, oh, you wore that for
I
me?
dressed up for you, and you wore fucking jeans and a t-shirt to our date.
It's a Marillion t-shirt. This is
Yeah,
special to me. This
Yeah,
is
okay.
special to me. I wore it
Yeah.
for you. It's
I'm
special.
glad you're happy. I'm just glad you're happy.
Yeah. So I was talking to you off. I was going to say off camera.
Off camera. Yeah.
It's all off camera. Off my before we
Off the
started,
show. Before,
before we started recording,
It's like,
and I was I've just fun fact. I've been seeing a lovely girl for the past about depending on when this episode comes out, 2 or 3 months. And she listens to the podcast.
hey.
So just shout out.
Shout out
thanks.
to you.
Hey
Gabe.
Jess.
It's Gabe, right? You didn't tell me the name. I don't know her name.
Are you serious?
No, it's Jess. I know it's Jess. Hey, Jess.
Yeah, hey,
I
sweetheart.
said Gabe, for
Yeah.
God's sake.
I mean, then you said, "What's the name?" And you were like, so I thought you were being serious.
No,
I was like,
I know
I've
Jess.
told you her name.
Yes.
I've
I've never met her, but
Yeah, you'll get to meet her, I'm sure. But she listens to the show, and I turned to Josh before we started recording, and I was like, "Do you know what she doesn't like?" And Josh said, "Game Grumps." I responded, "Yes, but that's not what I meant." He said, "Super Mega." I was like, "Yes, but that's also not what I meant." She is not a fan of Star Wars.
ooh, is this a segue into Last Jedi?
That's why I brought it up.
Oh, okay.
She is a couple times I asked her. It actually came up because I said to her, I was like, "Hey, we're hanging out one day." I was like, "Do you want to go see Last Jedi?" And she was like, "No." And I was like, "That was actually pretty firm.
Yeah.
Do you not like Star Wars?" And she was like, "Has this never been brought up? I don't like Star Wars." I was like, oh okay. and she'll listen to this, and I'll feel bad
That
because
was good 2 months.
no,
I'm sure you had fun.
I'll get an angry text when this comes out, being like, That was not funny.
This is how we out you, Jess.
No, I don't mind, because I'm sure there's things she likes that I will not like.
Yeah.
And, everybody's entitled to their
Turns
own
out
opinion.
she fucking loves Ted Nugent. Like, it doesn't make any sense. But she's like, Cat Scratch Fever, Stranglehold, and like, that's about it.
Stranglehold's a fun song.
It is, but he doesn't sing it at all.
No, it's
It's the drummer, isn't it, right?
No, it's Derek St. John or something like that. I forget the guy's name, but he's got a pretty decent voice. Here I come again now, baby. And there's a bass solo in it.
Yeah.
It comes out of nowhere. Anyway, but it's just our show.
This is our Star Wars.
Yeah, this is our Star Wars show. That we're trying to talk about. We end up talking about fucking Ted Nugent. The thing that. No, just kidding. So we're recording this in December, and Last Jedi's been out for about
Like a week.
Yeah, a week
or so.
Week and a half.
Yeah. Because I saw it opening night. I saw it Friday.
Yeah, I saw it the Friday.
Like I was telling you, I did not know it was opening night. I had already thought it was out because I hadn't seen a whole lot of the trailers, and I just didn't care that it was coming out, and I'll explain why later. But you finished. You finished talking about shit talking your girlfriend.
No, it doesn't bother me. But no, it's like she just said that, and I was like, well, that's fine, like not everybody likes Star Wars. And then I go to work, and all the kids are like, Star Wars, and I'm like, oh, apparently everyone does like Star Wars.
All the kids like Star Wars.
Yeah, all the kids like Star Wars. But she doesn't like Lord of the Rings either.
Really?
Uh-huh. Which I was okay with, because I think I told you, and we'll get to Star Wars, I promise. When I watched Fellowship of the Ring in high school, I'd seen it as a kid, and I went back in high school, and it was like I might even have been out, and I was like, oh, Fellowship, I haven't seen that in years. I bet it's as good as I remember. And I put it on, and just something about it, and I'm gonna get like
which one did you watch? Did you watch like the extended?
No. I watched
just the original
theatrical cut.
Okay.
Yeah. And I started watching, I think up until they get to wherever the fuck they meet Agent Smith.
Mm. The Matrix. He actually really I know what character you're talking about.
Elrond.
Yeah, Elrond.
Yeah,
Elrond Hubbard comes in.
Elrond Hubbard. But
he comes
where he comes in, and like I just remember being like, I have never seen anything in my life that's so simultaneously like slow and like dragging and just tedious, and also really just rushed at the same time. Because I felt like when they were introducing characters, it was like, oh, here's the hobbits. Oh, here's Aragorn. He just fucking is here in this tavern. No, like, grandiose about, oh, this is Aragorn, son of, I forget what he says.
The last time I saw it, was actually this year.
I'm taking my headphone out. I feel like I'm talking slower with it in.
But I don't know what like the difference between. Well, I do know the difference between the theatrical version and like the extended one. Because the last one I watched was the extended with like all the fucking extra footage, and it's like 2 discs and all that shit. And I don't know. I thought I'm still a fan of Lord of the Rings. The only like problem with like the movies I have is like the fucking Hobbit movies.
And
the extended edition was fine. But like the thing is, like when I watched it, like I watched it like twice because I was over at Dana's and she didn't like pay her internet or something, and it went out, and she only had like a few DVDs, so we just always watched Lord of the Rings, just Fellowship, like just like the first disc. Like we didn't even finish the rest of the half of Fellowship or the rest of the trilogy. We would just always watch Fellowship. No, Sure. I would have to sit back down and like rewatch all of them.
I know.
Or like at the very least the theatrical. I haven't seen the theatrical one forever.
I know if Brooks were to listen, I've already told him how I felt about it when I rewatched it, which has been like 4 or 5 years since I last watched it. But he was very like,
he's very
what?
adamant. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No. You have to watch them again. No. I was like, okay. But like, I'm very like, I'll give it a chance.
Yeah.
But like overall, and again, if people want to hate me forever, I'll fucking accept it. It's probably the most overrated movie series of all time.
Well, let's get into Star Wars. So, okay, let's just jump headlong in straight into Return of the Jedi, or not Return of the Jedi, Last Jedi, whatever the fuck. You go ahead, because I have heard more arguments against it rather than for it for people who I've talked to about. So you enjoyed it.
Yes, I enjoyed it.
So you go ahead, tell me.
It's a long movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's with previews close to 3 hours, and I know that because working in the movie theater, everybody's like, "How long is Star Wars?" And I'm like, "You went in at 6 o'clock. It's gonna get out just before 9 o'clock," and they're like, "Oh my god!" So there's that. That's a flaw in it. And I'm gonna say I did like this movie. I liked it a lot. It's probably in my definitely top 5, maybe top 3 favorite Star Wars films. And it is see, what I liked about it is it had nice callbacks to the original trilogy without feeling like Force Awakens was, which was like almost a complete rehash of the first of A New Hope.
Mm-hmm.
It had new ideas that weren't like touched upon in previous Star Wars movies, which I also liked. Like the fact that there was the whole like outrunning the First Order thing. And I know I had a friend who, when I said, "Oh, I really liked Last Jedi," said, "Yeah, I also liked Empire Strikes Back." And I was like, "Fuck off!" Like, yes, there's parts in it. Like, there's the part where they go to like the mineral planet, and it's covered in salt, so it looks like Hoth. Cause there's the war.
See, that's the thing. Like, it felt more like Return of the Jedi to me than it did Empire. You know?
Yeah,
it felt more like that rather than like how Empire felt.
Well, I mean, it's because it's the second movie in the series, and what's the only other second movie in any series that matters? It's Return of the Jedi. I mean, Empire Strikes Back. Am I right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But it was visually a beautiful movie, beautifully shot, really, really nice looking movie. Like the part where they're on that like mineral planet, like the reds and all that stuff. That was really nice. Like the scene in space, the scene I'm talking about, the one that's like silent.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
That was great. And there was just a lot of like, if I was to go like and be one of these like hoity-toity fucking film reviewers, like, "Oh, well, if we look at it artistically, there's a lot of
your little brandy sifter you got right here, that little hand motion.
Turn it to Fraser.
Yeah.
Well, you see, what I liked about it.
What I liked about Star Wars, Return of the Jedi, or The Last Jedi. Fuck, I always do that.
But I watched that movie, and I felt very much like I was like, "Fuck yeah," parts. You know what I mean? Like I watched parts, and I just was like, "Yes, go!" Like felt good about what I was watching.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't Empire because it didn't end on a sour note where it was like, "Oh shit,"
Han's like gone or whatever. And
Luke
has no hand.
Luke has no hand. Darth Vader is Luke's dad.
Holy shit!
Yeah. All this stuff, like, I think Adam Driver, I forgot his name for a second. Adam
Adam
Driver
Driver.
was 10 times better in this than he was in Force Awakens. Oscar Isaac, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was
Poe
like,
Dameron?
Poe
Yeah.
Dameron. I was like, wait, is that his name?
Yeah.
He was great in it too. Like, I think Mark Hamill. I think Mark Hamill was excellent in this. I think the portrayal of Luke in this movie was done really well, which is funny because Mark Hamill, I don't know if he still thinks that.
Oh, where
but
he
it
said
came
like
out-
this is not how Luke Skywalker is supposed to be.
Yeah, well, I thought like the way they did Luke in this movie was excellent. It was a really good look at what it's like to have like that ego that comes with really saving the galaxy and then realizing that, you know, maybe you weren't that great. Maybe you're not as great as you thought you were, and then just fucking dealing with it like a fucking normal person and getting depressed and like
Living
cutting
off
yourself off from everyone else.
and drinking alien milk just right out of the titty. Right out of there.
It's that face he puts. He's like,
Yeah, like his like beard's covered in like the milk. He's like,
the fucking alien just looks at Ray like,
yeah,
you want some?
yeah, just goes,
You too, babe.
very serious science fiction film.
I watched fucking Brad Jones talk about this when he does his midnight screenings, which is as soon as he sees a movie, he just puts a camera on in his car, talks about the movie.
What we
with a
did for a
friend.
little while.
Yeah, exactly
Yeah.
the same. And he was saying, he remarked, he was like, they weren't even like fucking udders, they were just 4 tits.
Yeah.
On this creature. He was like,
Yeah.
it must be in the Total Recall universe.
Whoa. That would be great. Plot twist. I think Paul Verhoeven could have done a good Return of the Jedi, or like if he was like, because remember when originally David Lynch was gonna do it? Like there was that whole
The Return of the Jedi?
yeah, David Lynch.
Oh.
Yeah,
Do you imagine how much like crazier
It
the
would've
Ewoks
been
would
like-
have been?
yeah, it'd been like Dune, but like worse.
Dude, I think the Jabba's barge scene would have been included right from the get-go.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Like, let me tell you, if I ever, this quick thing about the special editions, if they haven't, by the time I have kids, just fucking gone, Disney hasn't just gone, you know what, this will make us more money, and just release the original versions of the movie.
Yeah.
And the only thing I like about the special editions is in Empire Strikes Back, is they went back and they added Ian McDiarmid in as the Emperor instead of the original guy.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Because, you know, it's continuity. It's like, oh, it's the same guy. It's
Yeah.
not 2 different actors.
Yeah.
One that's an actor. I think it was something like a woman's face with monkey eyes superimposed on
Yeah,
it.
he looks more autistic in that than he does.
He
in
looks
the prequels.
like an alien, like a
It's like
straight up alien.
protruding out is
Uh-huh.
like what's weird about it.
And then and the next one, it was just like, he's just a crazy old man.
Yeah, and he's just Palpatine.
I'm afraid. I forget what he says. Like where he gets really weirdly like campy for a second.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm afraid your rebel friend. They do the Family Guy joke where like the Lois's dad, like his head goes, I'm afraid you do, and just like does like the fucking
Yeah.
upside down. Do it. But like if by the time I have kids they
Mhm.
don't release the original versions on a DVD or whatever, I'm going to, and this will probably take me many copies of Return of the Jedi on DVD to get perfect. Scratch it, and so in just a way it skips the entire musical scenes on Jabba's bar.
Yeah.
So like it's gonna be like That's Max. We could.
Just Luke's jumping over and he's got like the lightsaber. It's like, oh, okay, I guess we're already here. I'll help you do that.
Yeah. Anyway,
I got an afternoon to kill.
yeah. Back to Last Jedi. It definitely felt more original than fucking whatever it was called, Force Awakens. And a lot of people, I hate when people say they're like, I just don't care for the Star Wars story at this point. Like, I'm like, I want to see what happens. I want to find out what happens to the rebels. I want to find out more about Rey. I want to find out like what's gonna happen. Is Kylo Ren gonna be the big bad guy, or is he gonna like fucking renew himself and at the end? Like, is Rey really? Oh, I was about to say something there. Okay,
Ooh.
Spoilers.
It's spoiler alert. This time,
Yeah, but the fact, like, are Rey's parents really just nobody? Is she just this like freak of nature where she just came out of nowhere with like these high midichlorians count?
A very high midichlorian count.
But I think Mark Hamill was fantastic. He was one of the driving parts of this movie. I think he gave a very good performance for a Star Wars movie. And I don't know about you, I felt this one wasn't as like really serious moment and dumb moment and like comedic moment here. Like, it felt a little more serious in this one. I mean, as someone I once spoke to was like, I just wasn't invested within like the first 10 minutes. Fucking Paul makes a "your mama" joke, and I'm like, no, what the? People can say like insult someone's mother without it being a fucking "your mama" joke, like a 20th century reference. I'm sure fucking Shakespearean times someone be like, yes, your mother was a whore or something like that.
And there's
your mother was no. Yeah,
your
mother was a hamster, and your father spelled of elderberries. Now go away before I taunt you a second time.
Monty Python.
Yeah.
Or there's the most dankest and oldest Yo Mama joke, Oedipus Rex. Just the story of Oedipus Rex. Yo Mama, you fucked.
there wasn't as many like annoying like comedic parts where you were like, okay. I mean, I still like Force Awakens. I wouldn't say it was in my top 5, but like it was better than like Rogue One, and it was better than most of the prequels. Probably all of the prequels. I mean, I think Revenge of the Sith is okay, but like, I'm going to cut this out because it makes it sound like I'm really struggling to defend this movie. When in actuality, I did really enjoy this movie, and I don't really, some of it I don't really feel like going in and being like, oh, this part was good, this part was good. I feel like that makes it harder to go back and say, well, this part, this part, and this part, and this part were good. Like, yes, I know there were issues. Yes, we don't really know anything more about Snoke. He was built up to be this big figure, and then it was just like, he's dead now. Oh. I didn't really like Rose.
The girl who's like, I'm such a big fan, and let me help you and help
she's
me.
Not. I saw something good today, and it was she's like, people are saying she's pointless, and it was talking about how it helps with Finn's character development. Yeah, you might not like her, but she's not pointless, and I'm like, okay, yeah, that's true. I don't like her. Yeah, like, I really don't like think that much of her character, and I was just like, when I kind of laughed when I thought she died. Yeah, like, she kisses him, and I said, turned to Liam, I was like, well, that talk about like bad timing. And then she like went like that, like slumped, and Liam was like, oh, she's dead now. And I was like, wow, okay.
Perfect,
double,
yes.
Double then.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, people say Rey only had like 2 lessons and then she's an expert in the Force. First of all, she's not. We clearly see that when she can't fucking take on Snoke or his guards. Like, yeah, so people say like Luke had 2 lessons with Yoda. Yeah. He didn't complete them. Then when I need to go off and fight Darth Vader, Yoda was like, you'll fucking die. Yeah. And he did, and went and got his ass handed to him by Darth Vader. But the
He got
same
his
thing,
hand handed to him
Yeah,
all the way out down the door.
The same thing happened with Rey. Like,
Yeah.
I don't understand why people are like, she's obviously this,
Yeah, but she's a girl. I know. I'm being dumb.
But I don't, maybe there was some sexism in there. I don't know. I don't dislike Rey. Daisy Ridley can, I was about to say she can call me anytime, but I don't think my girlfriend would appreciate that.
I can call you in a few months.
I'm
sorry. I'm sorry. No, she won't.
I was like, oh my god!
Yeah, you looked at me like you'd just been shot, or if I had just said the N-word.
My god!
Sorry.
Oh.
I'm working through a few things.
Okay, man, it's alright. But I will say, also Laura Dern's character, totally underutilized.
Yeah.
And I want to meet Ryan Johnson, tell him, listen, I really like this movie. Don't listen to what people say. It's an excellent movie. But then fucking give him a hard slap for including the fucking porgs.
Yeah.
I cannot stand them.
So,
and it's funny because Liam and Brooks are both like, I don't mind them. Now Brooks is on the, no, I like them train. Weston's like, I think they're great. And my mother was like, that movie we saw was just okay, but I really like those tiny bird puffin creatures.
Yeah.
Well, and I do understand. Like, at first I was like, why the fuck are these in this movie? Apparently, when they were filming, there was a lot of puffins around the island. Those tiny, like, penguin-looking birds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that why they just needed something to digitally cover in
like,
CGI?
if it was flying over, like, they couldn't get rid of them.
Oh,
like,
okay.
And they're, I believe, not necessarily endangered, but like they're protected.
Yeah, so you can't really like do
you can't just
with
fucking shoot them.
Yeah,
the American way. So they just like in post would go and like play the porg cry over maybe like a far shot where you can see a puffin flying and like CG over them in certain scenes.
Okay.
Why the fuck they're on the Millennium Falcon now? I just.
This is why they're
there's
they're
going
to be in all the Lego sets now.
Another great thing from the Brad Jones review is he was like, I wanted to hate them, but I was just so astonished by the balls of creating a character that was just to sell toys.
Just to sell T-shirts, cute little toys, Legos, like. Fuck Ewoks. This was like, balls out. This is for kids. Get out of here.
Yeah. I mean, I don't mind Ewoks.
You can buy them in the fucking lounge of the theater. Get your porks.
Okay, to be fair, the worst fucking characters for that same purpose that have been released for the point of toys. Fucking Minions.
Yeah.
Lots of stuff. I don't hate Ewoks. Like, as
do.
far as a lot... I know you do.
Hate them. I don't fucking do the Blade Runner.
Well, that's it. We talked about that. You were like, I hated cutesy things as a kid.
Well, yeah, I hated cutesy things as a kid, but like that's what like. I think I've said this before. I'll probably say it again. Like, it's what I think brings down the Star Wars series. It was like, oh shit, kids are watching it. I fell in love with the kid shit, and like it's not why I watched. That's why no kid watches Star Wars because it's kid friendly.
I don't know, but
it's
like,
you think it appeals to my sensibilities as a child.
But you think about it, the Ewoks fucking tried to eat them.
Yeah, they do.
You think about that, and then they fucking worship C-3PO as their golden god.
Yeah, I mean, they do kill people. Like, there's no doubt about that.
They kill several stormtroopers, which is really more of an embarrassment on the stormtroopers.
Someone gave me like I think it was Hooper. I was talking about Star Wars. Like, they actually made a really good defense for Ewoks. They're like, oh, the argument of like, how could Ewoks have brought down the Empire is ridiculous. Has like anyone ever heard of like the Vietnam War or like just smaller armies in general defeating empires?
Yeah,
and I'm like, oh, I guess it's possible,
dude. The fucking Picts drove the Romans out of Scotland.
Yeah. So it is possible.
Yeah, Hadrian's Wall was built to keep the fucking Picts out of England.
Yeah. Because
the fucking Romans were like these crazy men who are naked, running around, covered in blue paint, and with far more primitive weaponry than us, are fucking handing us our asses on a silver platter. So we need to fucking get out of there.
Yeah.
Make sure they don't come back
Yeah.
here. We Scots
We Scots will fuck you up.
are not so at times a very, sophisticated race. What with many of you can see many of the less sophisticated sides of Scotland at any football match up there, especially Rangers versus Celtic. That's something to behold. Is just some of the lowest IQ in the country just gathered in one area.
Wait, what was this?
You're on your fucking phone. That's
I know. I was responding a text to my mom.
Football, soccer,
okay.
football.
My bad. That's exactly what you're talking about.
Lot of drinking.
Yeah.
Lot of folks with very low IQ. I love my country. I love my country a lot. Do I like sports? No. Do I care about sports? No. If you take me to a Rangers match, will I scream, "Come on the Jers"? Yeah. That's
obligated.
That's a pride. That's a pride in your upbringing more than I like football.
Yeah.
Like I'll turn to my dad and be like, "Fucking come on the Jers," and I'll turn to my dad and I'll be like, "So who's winning?"
So what exactly is going on?
And then I'll be like, "Yes," and then the rest of the Rangers side will be, "Monty, fuck me, where's the ref? You fucking blind," and I'm like, What just happened?
I'm the exact same at what we call here in America football games.
Yeah. I was also a lot younger.
Yeah.
Which is not really an excuse because kids at my age, while I was inside reading Star Wars stuff and playing with my Star Wars and Lego toys and all that kind of stuff, were outside playing soccer, football, and making their fathers very proud.
While I was inside disappointing mine. Connor Harris.
Yeah. I always felt bad for my dad because he was big into football,
Uh-huh.
and we'll get back to Star Wars in a second.
I'm waiting. Got a lot to say about this movie.
But because he loves football, soccer, football, real football. You play it with your fucking feet.
Yeah.
And he tried to get me into it. He got my brother into it. But I was never a sporty kid, and I feel like I let him down for many years until I said to him one day, "Dad, who's Jimi Hendrix?" And then I felt like he just took me under his wing musically and was just like,
I got you back. It's okay. It's okay.
he did a lot of music, so I think that probably was that was good. I mean, he's been listening to the show too, so he might hear this and come to me and be like, "I've always loved you, son."
And there's no physical activity that is required to listening to music, really.
No.
So it's fine.
You could just lie in your bed and listen to music, and that's good. I don't have to be active.
And
the
you don't
only
have to
time I
hurt
have to
yourself.
be active is to get up, and was when I was younger. I have to get up and change the CD. Anyway,
but no, I was just gonna say my dad was a bit of the same. He tried to we throw the pig skin around, play a little football, and I was just, and then I was a kid with my friends I was into it, but I didn't like fucking getting hurt, and I liked reading books about weird stuff, and I liked playing with my toys and watching movies and TV.
Did a lot reading myself.
And then I did the same thing. I was like, "Dad, what is Gentle Giant? Dad, what is a Genesis?"
He gets worried for a
what
second.
Is a
He's
Floyd and why is it pink?
Here's the Genesis why he gets worried for a second. He's like, "Right, my son either wants to be religious or he wants to get into classic prog rock. We'll just feel this out, see where it goes." He's furiously knocking on the wood, your door, "Come on, please just knock on wood, please don't be a fucking religious nut." Anyway,
and then I was like, "They're a band like the Beatles, right?" And he was like, "Oh, thank God."
He holds you up Lion King style.
Yeah.
Well, like Supper's Ready plays and says Circle of Life. Hey, my baby, don't you know our love is true?
And then it just drops me, and then that's why I'm like what I am today. But
Anyway,
so Star
back
Wars.
to Star Wars.
So this
Peter
is
Gabriel is very Star Wars, isn't he?
is he in the new Star Wars?
Yeah, I'll tell you about someone who's in the new Star Wars that made me laugh later on.
Benicio del Toro.
Keep going.
Okay.
I've got some things about the new
All right,
cast.
so this is my overall feeling on the new Star Wars. I neither hate or love the movie. There are things in it that I really like, and then there are things in it that I'm like, all right, this is not that great. I agree with you on some things that you liked about it. I disagree on some things. Like for me, like there was a little too much like jokes. That's what was like one of my problems with like Rogue One, that like the humor didn't feel like it fit. Like especially
No, the humor in I think with Rogue One, because it was different writers and everything like that. Like the humor wasn't as good. Like there was the whole joke that was they're in the elevator and K2, voiced by my boy Alan Tudyk.
Yeah.
Who's apparently real good friends with Disney now, because he's just getting role after
roles,
role in all these movies. Well, now Disney owns Fox. So
oh yeah, that's right.
we
We're
gonna
gonna get a Disney Alien movie. Aren't you so happy?
Can we get a Disney Firefly movie?
Oh,
Or revived Disney fucking Firefly on Disney with like the Reavers like raping and pillaging.
Oh, please.
I forget what they're called. It's been so long since I watched it.
But but so
yeah, he's the part where he goes, "I've got a bad feeling," and they're like, quiet.
Shut up. Yeah.
You're like, oh,
Well,
and all the
my
callbacks. That and Rogue One was far worse for callbacks than this movie was. Like with the two guys from the bar in Mos Eisley, the cantina, where it's like, "You better watch yourself."
Yeah. So my thing is just to cover up my thought about the humor, like the whole beginning bit where he's like Poe Dameron's like, I gotta tell your master something. Hello, is anybody there? Blah blah blah. And I was just like stalling. I thought it was like a little funny, but like I was like, okay. But anyways, so what I found myself really asking myself about the movie is, what are we looking for as Star Wars fans out of Star Wars? Because I think you have to look at it objectively, in the sense of like, all right, so any fan can confirm at the very least there's two good Star Wars movies. There's New Hope and Return of the and Empire Strikes Back, and then it's split for the most part. Like it's still heavy on like, all right, you could probably say there's three good ones, but there's still people who don't like Return of the Jedi.
I like
Return
of the Jedi.
And then the rest are either loved or hated or just hated. Like, so arguably there's 2.5 good Star Wars movies out of like a total of 9 tries. And like this goes back to my feelings on like, well, if you want like the purest form of Star Wars, it's unfortunately the prequels. And like everybody fucking hates those. And I think the reason why for this is because like, and you have to like be honest, like what is like The Last Jedi? It is a movie people either like it or hate it.
Yeah.
Like it's
just
very
look
rare.
at the fucking Rotten Tomatoes,
Yeah.
93 or whatever.
Yeah.
Critical, and
Yeah.
then audience is like 56,
And
which apparently is lower than the score for fucking Attack of the Clones, with the exception of fucking the Clone Wars animated movie they did, the worst Star Wars movie ever made. Listen, talk shit on Phantom Menace all you want. You got pod racing, y'all like that. You got fucking Darth Maul and that fucking fight at the end. You like that too. The music's still good.
Yeah.
Like the Duel of the Fates. That's great. Fucking, there are plenty of enjoyable parts about Phantom Menace. Is it a good movie overall? Probably not. When I fucking watched it when I was older, I noticed how fucking racist the Trade Federation was. We were like, oh, we are peaceful traders. And I was like, wow.
How racist Jar Jar Binks is too.
You know what? I think I've said this before. I don't hate Jar Jar Binks.
Yeah.
And the only reason is because when I was a kid, I thought he was funny.
Yeah.
And I've grown up and I'm like, he's not as funny anymore, but he has a place in my heart because I stuck up for Jar Jar, goddammit.
But all right, so
He wasn't the worst character. I fucking hate porgs more than Jar Jar Binks.
Yeah. But anyways, but that's like my point, right? Like there's more arguments than more arguments of like which ones are worse than for which ones are like, you know, the good ones. And so I think we need to honestly ask ourselves, like, where is the new Star Wars going? Are we okay with it? And is it still technically Star Wars? Because from my understanding, and this is how like I perceive the movie and looking at like how like the franchise is going on like a material level. So Marvel or Disney bought Star Wars. Their first movie was a familiar tone film that just to get the fans back, and then the next one after that, ignoring Rogue One, is this movie that I've heard quite a lot, and I honestly agree with. Feels more like a Marvel movie. Like it feels more like one of the Marvel cinematic, like in that formula where it's like, all right, here's us trying to tell our story, and then cut to joke, and and now we're loading up on all these characters.
It's not as bad as
Civil War.
Civil War can fuck right off. But
so that's my thing.
Did you see Thor Ragnarok?
No, I did not see Ragnarok.
That one's a lot worse for the. I mean, I thought it was fine, and I like the director Taika Waititi. I forget how to say his name. Guy from I believe New Zealand. This is where he's from. He did What We Do in the Shadows.
Yeah,
the vampire movie. Good, funny guy. Good comedy movies. Not the best choice for a Thor movie, especially because Thor was never the fucking comedic guy. He was always like the straight man. He had like the odd funny moment because he didn't fucking understand. Yeah. And now he's fucking coming out and he's fucking Jim Carrey, like talking to the camera, like making jokes that just are like, what the fuck? But like, so I understand what you're saying about like the whole like here's the formula
and so that goes to basically how I perceive it is, so I understand that like financially it's a great idea to like follow what Marvel's doing and like build these movies, because God knows like whether you liked this Star Wars or not, you're gonna get like 80 more. Like once this trilogy's over, apparently we're getting a whole new trilogy.
Well, I'm interested in that, but because see the thing about these ones is we're going to at least have 9 movies that revolve around like the Skywalker timeline.
Yeah.
And I mean, again, spoiler, Luke is dead by the end of this movie. And I feel it's a good conclusion for him.
Well, I knew they were going to kill him off. I felt very strongly going in like they're going to kill him.
I had a feeling, but like I didn't. Like a lot of people were like,
I thought they were going to double down. I thought they were going to kill both Carrie Fisher and Mark Hamill.
There's a thing I have thoughts on, but I'll wait till you're done till I talk about that.
So but anyways, and so because of all that, we're now going to have more Star Wars movies and franchises such as Jurassic Park, Godzilla, both that I dearly, dearly love. And unfortunately, if it had gotten the chance, it would have probably happened to Blade Runner. We are now seeing like and people talk about this all the time, like these overgrowth and overstimulated franchises now that are going to be pumping out fucking movies. And
Avatar.
Avatar, yeah. And like, so, of course there's like the little like indie nerdy, like, oh, fucking give it back to the people, bro. And I know that's not going to happen, but like, I think what we need to ask ourselves is, who is this Star Wars for now? Because I don't think it's for me anymore. Like this goes back to what I was saying earlier, and I knew I was going to talk about this, is like the whole kid aspect of Star Wars. I didn't watch it as a kid because it appealed to my kid sensibilities and kid friendliness. It appealed to me because it was this big, enigmatic, crazy space adventure and all this other shit.
But is that not this like kid-like wonder with that? Like, because when I was a kid, I thought space was super cool, and it's more, it's still cool, of course, but But now it's more like this like mystery, this fascination with
Yeah.
it, rather than just thinking space is so cool. I'd love to go flying around
But
in a
I'll
big
tell you
spaceship.
this, for that argument, I'm like the weird outlier because I'm the kid who liked Alien and Blade Runner as a kid. So,
But like, see, when I watched Star Wars, there was that kid like, yeah, this is a big adventure. They're going on an adventure in
I would
space.
say like, yeah, it's an adventure thing, but like, again, for me, like, I didn't look at that because like, oh, it's a kid, it's an adventure, like, of course.
I mean, it's
so
not a
is Jurassic
kid's-
Park, and so is Star Trek, and all that shit.
It's
was
not
an
a
adventure.
kid's series. I mean,
It is
kind of,
now.
It
It
is now,
absolutely
yeah.
is.
But it wasn't made to be a
no,
kid's
it wasn't.
series.
And that's the thing, right? It wasn't made to be for kids, but it ended up going to the kids. And you see that evidence with things with the Porgs, the fucking Ewoks, and then even the scene at the end of Last Jedi where it's a kid hearing the story and then like he force grabs a thing, and it like that is like a clear nod of Disney going like, "How we see you, kids, keep buying."
I mean, I took that more as like the fucking is like the Jedi and the rebellion and the resistance will live on in like future generations, and the Jedi are not extinct because there are clearly force sensitive kids out there. I mean, the only issue that I would like nitpick about that bothers me is like the kid has force, like can use the force, even if it's just like pulling the broom over like not even like 6 inches into his hand, like fucking Anakin in episode 1, and I hate to go back to that for Star Wars elitists, but he never showed any force sensitivity
and
or
that-
like
and
that.
that-
They
and
just
that-
were like, oh, midichlorians. Oh,
And that's going to be a problem that all franchises, including this one, are going to continue to see, which are these unintentional continuity questions that we're going to ask ourselves. Because, again, like this is a new development. There's like a new team involved. Like the technology is going to be different. The direction of the story is going to be different. And I think we have to ask ourselves, people who grew up watching this stuff as a kid, and like even people who saw them in theaters, like, is this your Star Wars? Do you want it to be like this? And if you don't want it to be like this, I don't think there's anything wrong in saying Star Wars is dead. There's my dramatic little. Cause I do. I think Star Wars is dead. I have no intention on seeing I had no intention on seeing this one the day of. It was just happened that my friend Johnny was like, "Hey, let's go," and I was like, "Okay." I've got no intention on waiting in fucking line to go see the new one.
No, I mean waiting in line.
And this is another thing. Like the universe, it fucking self is so huge. But like there's books, comics, and all this other shit, and like there's an expanded universe, and there's so much for you to pick. And like it's gotten to the point where like if you find yourself like working for like, oh God, who runs the Star Wars comics? Is it IDW? Fucking whoever. If you find yourself working for Disney or any of them, you can kind of make up your own shit for Star Wars now because it's so fucking big and there's just so much. You can literally tie in like any other series now that takes place in space, or you can fucking make up your own mythos or whatever. And that goes to my argument is that Star Wars isn't a franchise. It's us. We all have our own interpretations of what Star Wars is supposed to be. We have our own personal feeling of what it should be. And because of the mere fact that it is so fucking big and we are all asking for certain things from it, we are never ever going to get a movie that is just as good or as well accepted by all the fans as much as the first two or arguably the first three were. Because that's the thing. People who love this movie, such as you, and people who hated this movie, you guys used to be in the same fucking camp.
Yeah.
You both used to be on the same team with Star Wars, the original ones. And for me, like, I'm done. I don't give a shit anymore. I like the conclusion from like the first three. I like some other of the games and the prequels. I can take them and leave them. There's some animated series that look cool. But like, I don't give a shit about Rey. I don't give a about Poe Dameron anymore. I don't give a shit about Finn, Snook, Adam Driver,
Snoke,
whatever the fuck. Snooky, don't care about Snooky anymore. Like
I don't think anybody does.
Yeah, I don't know. Like it's for someone else now. It's not for me anymore.
That's sad.
Yeah, it is.
You know,
And I don't want that.
Yeah.
I love Star Wars. Like, I love playing with the stories. I love going outside in the snow, and my dad got me like that winter fur coat, and I was with my dog, and I was like, oh, and I thought I smelled bad on the outside, and like, I love all of that, and I have to look at it in the eyes and say, I don't love you anymore, and it hurts.
I know this is a really serious moment where you're like being betrayed by one of your favorite series. I can't stop laughing.
Yeah.
It's just
No,
like fucking
it's ridiculous.
crazed eyes you have. You know what? And that's all good and fine. Still love Star
Yeah, I know.
Wars. I like this movie, warts and all. Like, yes, I had issues with it. The Snoke thing, the Laura Dern character,
Yeah.
the fact that there has been no evidence of Princess Leia or General Leia, whatever, having force powers,
Yeah.
force sensitivity, and then this movie, there's like, there it is.
Yeah.
And honestly, that whole scene where she flies back in the ship was probably the worst
It
part.
was the ugliest thing I've seen in a Star Wars movie. That's one thing you were saying. You're like, oh, this Star Wars is visually one of the most beautiful. And I think there's some very good visuals, but you know which one I thought was like more visually beautiful? I thought Rogue One was way more beautiful. There are there are shots in Rogue One that I just think are stunning. Then the whole fucking scene when they're testing out the Death Star, like they're silhouetted against the screen and like just the Death Star in the distance, like that shit I think looks really good, and that's really because Gareth Edwards uses a really good director of photography. But I do agree, like there are some very cool visual things in this one, but I would say for me,
Like
I liked Rogue One a little bit better,
the
visually wise.
the artistic choice of the fucking silence.
Yeah.
During
That
like
I like that.
And
see-
the hyperspace jump, and that's something I was worried. I was like, what if someone's doing hyperspace and they accidentally, like, a ship goes in front of them and they're like, fuck.
Yeah.
But that, like, like I said, there's several moments in this movie where I just had a very, like, fuck yeah, like, sense to it. Like that part where she hyperspace jumps through the Imperial, the First Order ship. Fucking Snoke's getting sliced in half. Just scenes that I was like, yes, like,
Yeah.
that I was like pumped for. And there were other scenes that, again, like the Leia floating back in from space scene, that I was just like, I don't need this. And I really think, like, the fact that Carrie Fisher's passed, I think they should have just left Leia dead
Yeah.
there. Just let her die, and it's not gonna.
That's what I thought they were gonna do. I thought like all right, so they kill off Han Solo in Force Awakens, and then they fucking double it up by killing both Luke and Leia.
Well, I mean,
And then Chewie's raped. No, I'm kidding. It gets really dark. It appeals to my sensibilities as a child.
What if the last one comes out and it's just so totally different
It's
from
just
all the
like
other Star Wars movies?
Flip switch, like Jedi are hunted and like put into a Holocaust camp. Like they're throwing Jedi in the air and shooting them, and like rape.
And fucking Domhnall Gleeson's character's like standing on like a balcony, sniping with like a laser sniper.
Like in Jedi's Last. Oh god. I'd like that. Let's make that. Let's make that movie. I'm down. I've always wanted Star Wars to get darker.
I'm wondering if I mean, not that you'll care, if Benicio del Toro's character is gonna get elaborated on more.
I thought he was fine. I wanted to see more of him. Is what the thing was.
That's what I'm thinking. Is this just him? Because like he gets away.
Yeah.
If it's like, will he be back in the next one?
Yeah.
Will they? And I was going to say, will they do a Lando? But like, no, we don't. Like, they don't have enough attachment to this guy for it to be a Lando. Where it's like, sell them out, they're betrayed, and then the guy redeems himself. And they could do that, which would just further fuel the fires of those who say this whole series new series is a rehash of the old series, which yes, there are elements that are similar, but fucking, you're trying to please people
Yeah.
who have been for years complaining about the prequels,
And that goes to my
saying
argument,
like,
you're
these
trying to
aren't
please too many people.
yeah, these people are. These movies are so different from the originals. I want the originals, and now they're fucking getting ones that are close to the originals, and they're like, these are too close to the originals. Fuck this.
Just watch the
Star
original
Wars
Star
fans,
Wars.
you know, Star Wars fans are really getting up there in my most hated fan bases right now. There's the fucking Undertale fan base, the Games Grumps fan base, the fucking Sonic one, way up there.
At the top of bullshit mountain.
Yeah, I mean, all these fan bases, like, yes, there's good people in these fan bases. You talk to and they're like, yes, you know, I really like this thing that I'm a fan of because of this, this, and this. And I'm a member of some of these fan bases that I really don't like to admit that I'm a member of sometimes, because the fucking fans really are cancer.
Yeah.
But like
Dude, you can say it. You and I have been friends for a long time. You're a Nazi, and it's okay now to be a neo-Nazi.
Jesus.
At least you acknowledge your friends and your fan base are all bad, you Nazi. No, I agree. I think fanism, and this goes to like my whole thing with Star Wars.
It's not fanism. It's fanaticism. God, I can't say that word.
Fanaticism.
Fanaticism at this point. It's not just I like.
But that's
these
what
series.
fanism leads to.
Yeah,
like that's what. Like that's the end goal. Like is where you're like, this is so. And like even Doctor Who fans are like that. Like
That's another fan base.
It gets to the point. It gets to the point where like you're so fucking deep into it that it becomes denial. Where
Yeah.
you can't look at the thing that you love objectively anymore and say, well, this was what's wrong with it. Like that's where it gets to be like a problem with me. Where it's like
anything I'm a fan base of, with the exception of Marillion and Pink Floyd. Like, I can look at objectively and go, like, yes, there are problems with these things I'm a fan of,
yeah.
and I can accept these things, and there's some things, you know, maybe I can't get past, but I'm not going to fucking bitch on the internet about it, and I'm not going to shove these things down people's throats.
Yeah.
Yes, I like Game Grumps. I'm not going to talk about how you're a piece of shit if you don't like them. Yes, I like Undertale. No, I'm not going to fucking force it down everybody's throat and tell them it's the greatest game ever made, period.
I actually don't know much about Undertale fans. I've heard
they're
actually a lot of
real
people
bad.
complain about them.
They're
But like,
real bad.
yeah, the game
Yeah.
looks cool. I've
The
never
game's
played it.
good. I really like the game. The music's nice. The story's cool. I like it has callbacks to fucking the Earthbound series, or whatever that series, Mother, I think the series is called.
Yeah.
But the fans just, oh god. And Doctor Who's bad too. Doctor Who got worse, and I know you don't mind the guy, but after Matt Smith became the Doctor, the fan
No, I
base
agree.
became the worst.
No, I agree. When Tennant left, that's when it like the audience not only did it grow, but like the
Which is
people
amazing
who were
because
in.
you talk to these people who are fans of it now, and there is a great chunk of them that say, I love Tennant, he was my favorite Doctor. And like the fucking when Tennant was Doctor and I was in middle and high school, fucking people would be like, oh, you ever seen Doctor Who? And people are like, what's Doctor Who? That sounds dumb. And then like a couple years later, when Matt Smith took over, fucking every girl there was like, oh my god.
You know what it was? It was. And this kind of happened with me because I didn't start watching the show regularly until Matt Smith's second season because I didn't get internet in my house until like I was like way older.
Yeah.
And so I just had to watch. I even remember when I first saw Doctor Who, it was on the Sci-Fi Channel and they had like a mini marathon of it. It was like all Tenet. And like the first ever episode I watched was Daleks in Manhattan, which is still one of my favorite episodes.
Yeah, that's a great one.
And the fucking like pig people, and he's like he turns himself half human, and he's like, we gotta be better, and it's like, oh, there's a chance, and then there's because of the Daleks.
that's sad.
But like it was right around then because Doctor Who I think was released onto Netflix, like the
Yes.
Tenet stuff. So then kids like my age, like 13-year-olds or whatever, started watching it, and like because it was like this weird British science fiction-y thing. And I guess Hot Topic had some money. A bunch of younger, like 13-year-old girls started getting into it.
And there was also the whole thing. People were like, oh, Matt Smith's kind of handsome. And I'm like,
Yeah.
he looks like a fucking caveman.
He looks
has
like
no
a little
eyebrows.
boy. He's so cute.
He has no eyebrows, and his forehead
He
jumps
looks
out about
cool.
6 inches past where
He's
it
a
should.
beautiful boy. I like him. He's
I
alright.
don't like him.
You'll like him as Prince Philip. He says a lot of racist things in
Did you
it.
say I'll like him?
Hey!
Kill me now.
But my final words on
The Last Jedi.
Last Jedi, Star Wars Last Jedi is you should feel really bad for yourself because you didn't see Blade Runner 2049.
Yes.
And that's another thing. Like, this is one of the reasons why I was like so upset about or not wanting to care to go see Star Wars, because the thing that I was super fucking hyped for fucking tanked financially. Where the fuck are all the fucking Ryan Gosling toys? Where the fuck are all my Blade Runner shit? Like, what the fuck?
No, I agree.
And a movie that I would say was a lot better than the past 5 Star Wars movies.
Absolutely.
Like,
The
Jesus Christ.
Blade Runner 2049 is probably my favorite, one of my, if not my favorite movie that came out this year that I saw.
Yeah.
I could see a movie like later on and be like, oh, this is really good. I like this better than Blade Runner. But Blade Runner was just so good. And it was well shot. The music was good. It was well acted. Like, it was a nice continuation to the story.
Yeah.
Without focusing super, without taking sole focus on everything from the last movie, like with the Harrison Ford character of Deckard and stuff like that. Yes, he was in it, and he was a pretty decent plot point, but he wasn't the main character. We weren't following them there. He doesn't show up till like fucking halfway in the movie.
Yeah.
3/4 of the way, probably.
Yeah.
But
And now you'll probably never get another Blade Runner, but you'll get like 30 more Star Wars.
Well, and the thing is, like you said, you don't hate it, you don't love the new Star Wars, you're indifferent, but it has put you off the series. Like I said, I like this movie, issues and all. I walked out the theater and I was like, I enjoyed that. I had a good time with that. And sometimes that's all you can ask for in a movie. Did you go I went in, I had a good time. Were there issues with it? Yes.
Yeah.
Were there good things about it? Yes.
Yeah.
Did I walk out the same way I walked out of Civil War, where I was like, why are people ranting and raving and calling this the best movie of 2016? I don't fucking know.
And that's what I basically am asking. Like, you need to ask yourself honestly at the end of the day, were you entertained? Because for me, I really wasn't, because the entire time I was asking myself, am I being entertained?
Are you not entertained?
I don't know. I've seen so many of these.
Fat Russell Crowe comes out the front of the theater. Are you not entertained?
Fat drunken Russell Crowe.
Or Australian, I say. Are you not entertained?
I don't know Russell Crowe. I've seen so many of these fucking movies now. I don't know if they're good or bad anymore.
But I will say, like I said, I enjoyed the movie. And Ryan Johnson is getting to direct his own, unrelated to the Skywalkers, Star Wars movies. And there was a rumor going around that it's going to be about the Old Republic, and there will be a Revan movie. And I really like Knights Old Republic and the Revan storyline. So if he gets to go in and do really that, I would go see that. And if he just doesn't and that's another thing. I love the original Star Wars movies, episodes 4, 5, and 6, but I'm so ready to be done with the Skywalkers.
I agree.
I didn't when I was a kid, I didn't even like Luke. He wasn't my favorite character. I just thought he was a whiny teenager.
Luke wasn't even my favorite character out of Star Wars. He was, for me, all right, he's the guy that's helping move this whole story along. Show me some Han. Show me some Han and Darth.
Yeah, and even the prequels. Yeah, it's cool to learn about what the Star Wars universe was like before the Empire came to power. And yes, we got to see Darth Vader, but did I really want to see Darth Vader as a fucking whiny teenager as well? No, he's a badass guy in an awesome costume who talks cool because he's voiced by James fucking Earl Jones.
Yeah.
I don't need that. And now that we're moving away from Leia will be dead in the next movie, I'm sure. Again, should have killed her in this movie.
Yeah.
Weston said that he thought they should have made it so that instead of Laura Dern's character blowing up the thing.
I agree 100% that should have been Leia.
Yeah.
I don't think we needed Laura Dern's character at all. I think that should have all just been Leia.
Yeah.
And that would have been
waste
like,
of
a
a
lot
good
better.
actress. Waste of a good actress.
Yeah, and I love Laura Dern.
Uh-huh.
I'm glad somebody put her in something because I honestly don't remember the last movie I saw Laura Dern
It
in.
was Jurassic Park 3.
Oh well, that's not good.
Last time I saw Laura Dern was at the fucking Oscars when her dad was nominated for Nebraska.
Oh no,
she was sitting next to him.
She was in some really good movie. Was she in Still Alice with Julianne Moore?
I think so.
I want to say yes because I remember she.
And
came
for some
out-
reason, I get her mixed up sometimes with Laura Linney.
Do you really?
Yeah, just because they're both Lauras
Yeah.
and they're blonde.
I
and they're
love
good
you,
actresses.
Laura Dern. You're great.
I like Laura Dern too, but like
Please
I like
make
I
Jurassic
think
World great again.
she gonna be in it.
I think so. I think she's supposed to
Well,
return. I know
well,
Jeff Goldblum's
yeah.
returning for the new one.
Well, bring Sam Neill back. Just have a trifecta. I like Sam
I
Neill.
agree. Oh, she's in Blue Velvet. What?
She's in. Oh yeah, she has a small part in Blue Velvet. That's right.
Oh, LOL. Roger Ebert gives it a 1 out of 4. I give that movie a 4 out of 4.
That's a great movie.
I love Blue Velvet.
Baby wants Blue Velvet. Let's fuck.
I want to
Fuck anything that moves.
What's the fucking Roy Orbison song that plays when he's singing
In
into
Dreams.
The yeah. Oh god.
Dance Hopper's so good in that.
Oh my god. We only drink Pabst Blue Ribbon
Yeah,
around
no.
here.
What kind of beer do you like?
Oh,
Heineken. Heineken. Fuck that shit. Pabst Blue Ribbon.
Pabst
Oh.
sucks. You ever had Pabst Blue
I have
Ribbon?
had because of that
Yeah,
scene.
that's why I had
I
it.
bought Pabst and it was like, what about this light? And I was like, this tastes like piss water.
This tastes what crazy, insane people drink. I kind of now want to take in an oxygen mask and harass a woman.
No, you don't.
No, I don't.
Not in this day and age.
No, but that's how I feel every time I drink Pabst Blue Ribbon.
Yeah.
Pabst Blue Ribbon, brought to you by Josh and Connor. You like them?
But my overall, I like Last Jedi. Your overall,
Yeah.
You don't care about Star Wars anymore. The last movie, I'll go see the last movie.
I'll probably like if it's ever like makes its way around Netflix or wherever the fuck, I'll like watch it. I just won't go out of my way to watch it now.
I still like. I'll stand by my opinion. Top 5 at least, maybe top 3 favorite Star Wars movies.
Yeah.
But definitely Return. It's a tie-up between Return and New Hope for favorite. Because New Hope is that nostalgia of watching the first movie and being like, God, this is where everything begins.
Yeah.
And then Empire because it's kind of objectively better. But,
Yeah.
it also has Yoda.
Yeah.
Puppet Yoda was back.
Puppet Yoda feels so weird, and it's because the rest of that movie's filled with CGI, so that when you finally see Puppet Yoda, you're like, what?
I was so happy.
I was happy
I saw
too.
his ears and I was like,
I-
oh, there's Yoda. And
I-
then they showed it was a puppet. And I was like,
I would have been a lot more happier if like the rest of the movie was more practical effects, but like,
yeah.
I'm.
Listen, it's 2017. We're going on at 2018. And I'll tell you, as far as practical effects in movies, we're probably not going to see much more of that.
But like, you
And
know
it
what?
sucks.
You know what? To give Star Wars to the benefit, I think, and this goes with what I was saying. I think they are very aware of what they're doing, and like I think that's what the whole scene with Yoda and Luke and burning of the tree. Spoiler: that whole tree burns.
I just said, like, Luke dies.
Yeah.
Leia
Should have died.
should have died. Laura Linney dies.
Yeah.
Snoke gets cut in
Laura
half.
Linney dies. I mean, Laura
Fucking
Dern.
Dern. Oh my god! Again.
Yeah, Laura Linney. She dies so
She
hard in
was
that movie.
so
she's
good in
not
that movie.
it.
Didn't even recognize her.
But I think that whole scene is basically saying like, yeah, this old tree, that was the old Star Wars. We're all dead. I'm Ghost Yoda. Luke's gonna be, which is another thing. Luke Skywalker isn't dead. He's gonna turn into a fucking ghost. We'll
That's what I've
probably
been
see
saying.
him.
That's what I've been thinking.
Yeah,
Like,
we'll
he'll be
probably
back in the
still
next
see
one.
Luke.
Which is fine because
I wouldn't be shocked if they did the same thing to Han. Like if Han, for whatever reason, came back as a ghost, because fuck it.
Well, I mean, he did say that moment where he was like, "If you kill me now, I'm gonna follow you. I'm gonna haunt you essentially, just like your dad." So I'm wondering if we'll see some like Kylo Ren guilt seeing his dad.
Yeah.
But I just like I'm curious what they're gonna do with the Carrie Fisher thing. Like, is it gonna open up and the text call is gonna be like, after all the death-defying shit she pulled in the last movie, Leia Organa like choked on a sandwich.
There's something so fucking morbid about all this, where your reasoning to go see the next Star Wars is, I want to see what they do with this dead girl.
No, it's not. That's not the main reason.
No, it's not.
What?
But 100 other people are, and I'm asking the same thing. Like, what are they gonna do? And like, man, capitalism is alive, ain't it?
Yeah, I just like. I will go see the last one because I enjoyed this one, and I'm eager to see how it ends. And when it does, I'll be like, "That's it. The Skywalker Star Wars movies are over. I don't want to see any more after this that do with this storyline."
Yeah.
I remember when Force Awakens was even announced, I was like, we don't need another one. Like the last one, episode 6 was like neatly tied up in a little bow. Everything's happy. Everything is awesome.
Everything's cool. You brought a team.
Yeah. So like at the end of this, will more so than episode 6 be like, enough. If they say one more day, they're making episode 11, I'll be like, no, you're not. I'll fucking petition it.
Yeah.
Like,
I think they're gonna make episode 11.
I don't
know if it'll be. I don't know if it'll be episode 11, but there will be 11 Star Wars movies.
Yeah, well, there already is
Yeah.
gonna be as soon as episode 10 comes
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
Well, no, not even before that, but when fucking Solo comes out,
Oh yeah, that's right.
which
I
real
was
quick,
so optimistic for.
no,
Like, that
I
whole
was
idea was
never.
like letting directors take their own little way with Star Wars and, like, you know, give it a little bit more freedom.
It's
and then
Ron Howard.
it becomes a cluster.
Yeah,
Fuck.
it's Ron Howard, who I still like as a director for his like the good stuff he's done. Yes, he did the fucking Grinch movie, okay, and he's made some choices that aren't particularly great.
Yeah.
But I like Ron Howard.
Yeah.
I
I like Apollo 13. That's a great movie.
I like Woody Harrelson. Woody Harrelson's going to be in it. I like Han Solo. He's probably my favorite Star Wars character. Do I want a Han Solo prequel movie that is directed by Ron Howard and stars Woody Harrelson as his quote-unquote mentor character? Fuck off.
And
no.
like technically directed by like 2 other guys, because wasn't it like?
Yeah, it was one guy, and I think he left. The other guy signed on. I think he started production. Then he was taken off and then replaced with Ron Howard. The same thing what I said about the episodes 1 through 3. You don't always need a backstory for certain characters. You don't need to know what young Han Solo was like.
That's what makes Star Wars, because we all kind of create
cool character that's introduced. He's like, ooh, he's got like a dark past, and you fill that in with your mind.
You create your own mythos. When you hear about the Kessel Run, you're like, what the fuck is that? So you make up your own idea of what the Kessel Run is. I actually don't know what the Kessel Run is. I don't know if there was actually ever like a. Well, I know it's a race.
People say the Kessel Run will be included, and again, Brooks has said he hopes not. I hope not. I just really don't want this movie to happen.
Yeah.
And it's going to happen. I can't fucking stop it. Same as how I can't go back in time and say, Rian Johnson, you know, if humans are in the Star Wars universe, is it really that, unheard of to think that the cute real animal called a puffin would be in the Star Wars universe? Fucking think about it.
That's
mate.
a good question. And the answer is no, it was the 70s. We were all too high, and we needed to get that movie done. What's it called? New Hope Star Wars Day? I don't remember.
Is the Christmas special canon?
Oh, God.
Because if so...
I rewatched the JonTron of that.
See, because... Oh, can't talk about him.
No.
But I've seen 3 different videos on that episode. I was just like... Sorry.
Special.
3 videos on that special. I watched Nostalgia Critic years ago talk about it. I watched JonTron, and then I watched my boy Brad Jones, the Cinema Snob, talk about it. And it's hilarious watching 3 different people talk about something that's terrible, all for different reasons.
Yeah.
Can we just say, if the Star Wars Christmas special is canon, B. Arthur is in the Star Wars canon? Harvey Korman is in the Star Wars canon. I forget the actor's
Chewie's
name.
family's in the canon.
Chewie's family. The guy from
Fucking Jefferson Starship
That's the one.
is canon.
That was the last one I was gonna say.
That would be awesome.
like
You've got me, Disney. You put Jefferson Starship in your fucking franchise. You've got me paying day one.
Well, let's
Buy
just hope
those
they don't
tickets
do
in
that. Let's hope they don't do the fucking Game of Thrones where when the next one there's gonna be like some jazz singer and it's gonna be like fucking Adele in Star Wars or something.
God.
But it's a galaxy a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. How are Jefferson Starship? Are Jefferson Starship aliens?
Yeah.
Which means by association,
Jefferson
Airplane
is aliens. And that
which
means-
could mean Nicky Hopkins was a member of Jefferson Starship for a while, and he's a Scientologist. So
Oh my
Hubbard's right.
God. That means Scientology is in Star Wars. Damn it, L. Ron Hubbard won again.
Can we just petition Disney right now to have a big character, like a fucking slob, like homeless character in the next Star Wars movie called Xena?
Oh my God. Can we go to the Church of Scientology and like try
Just
and
explain all this to them.
explain it to Yes, we'll audit them and tell them they're all secretly Star Wars characters and we'll make more money.
Yeah.
That's how we end Scientology. We did it.
We
Woo!
ended Scientology.
Thanks,
And
Last Jedi.
And on that strong note, the strongest note we could end on for this episode, we're gonna finish up here.
We got through Star Wars, JonTron, Jefferson Starship, Scientology to land back onto Star Wars. Amazing.
So, thank you everybody for listening. You can find us on SoundCloud at Connor and Josh's You'll Like 'Em podcast. I have fixed the RSS feed, which was the issue, and our episodes are updating on iTunes. So when you go on to look us up, you can look us up on iTunes. Again, same thing, Connor and Josh's You'll Like 'Em podcast. You can subscribe to us there, and we have every episode up to our Christmas episode on there. As I'm talking right now, hopefully by the time this episode comes out, this episode will be on iTunes.
Yeah.
So check us out on there. Leave us a review. We'd appreciate that. You can also find us on Facebook. Same thing, Connor and Josh's You'll Like 'Em podcast. On Twitter, under the same name, and our tag, I guess, is at You'll Like 'Em. All one word, no punctuation, capitalization, anything like that. And my Twitter handle is at Keith Moon is God, one I've had since high school. My go-to username for everything. And my YouTube channel is Scotsman Music and Movies. Don't expect anything on there soon. I rarely use the channel other than maybe the odd comment on a Game Grumps video criticizing the fucking fan base and geeking out the fact that Danny knows all these great bands. And how about you?
Lord Dern plays as Helen Sylvian in The Master.
And that's it for us. So have a good night. Anyway.
I'm Dr. Goomba on Instagram, and that's really the only one I use. Bye. Happy howdy. Sendeki New York. We're all gonna die.
Isn't there another podcast you're on?
Oh, yeah. Well, I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about that, actually.
Oh, I just meant 100 years.
Oh,
since
yeah. But, like, I don't know.
accounts.
I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about that because we haven't announced the name of what it's going to be.
Are you sure?
Yeah. We haven't.
Hasn't it been announced on the podcast?
No, not yet. I've accidentally said what it was 100 times.
Oh.
It may have accidentally gotten through.
I'm pretty sure I've heard them say the name. Well, not say the name just to be sure, but Josh is on
100 years. You can
100
find
Years
me
podcast,
100 years, yeah.
which just fairly recently had its 100th episode and its last episode. Which is sad.
But we'll be back.
Yes.
Like we're the show itself is continuing on. We're just regenerating. We're regenerating.
I was just gonna have like a nice little thing where we got like, it's sad to see this show that I listened to before I started doing this, and I know the folks in it to end after its long run. of like a year, maybe 2 years.
Yeah, like a year and a half.
And it, they're going on to do a different show. You can find more out about that on the 100 Years like social media. Do you know the 100 Years Twitter handle?
I didn't even realize we had a Twitter.
Yes.
Oh shit! I should probably follow.
Well,
I
just
know I follow it. I think it's just 100 years, isn't it?
But I will tweet it out under both the podcast's Twitter page and my own, and Josh will too, and his
will.
is the same on Twitter, right? At Barrett Films.
I am at Barrett Films, and I've been trying to like remember to like go use Twitter. So like I'll randomly like something or retweet something.
Yeah.
But I need to start like posting onto it.
I've been trying to do more of that too, but just social media.
Yeah, 100 years at 100 Years Pod.
At 100 Years Pod
That's
is our friends Brooks and Zach Lee. And Jesus
God.
fucking Christ!
It's like the 8th time. It's every time I do this. I don't know if we should do the thing where we take a picture and show what this is like, but our setup is very
okay. Let me ask you
precarious.
this: how are they going to see it on a audio-based show?
Or don't we upload to YouTube still? Oh, did we stop uploading to YouTube?
Well, I just haven't given Brooks the episodes
Oh, okay.
in a while. Maybe I'll just bombard him one day and be like, "Here's everything we've recorded up until now," and he'll be like, "Oh, man."
Well, if we did because we do that with when we upload them on YouTube, we'll like, oh, here's the thing, and then like we're like, just throw it in the video.
Well, I
we'll do
just
that.
gave him the terrible picture I took for our thing, which hopefully we'll replace once we have time. Josh and I have talked about doing a photo shoot.
Yes.
And hopefully, we'll get better mics and everything in the new year. We'll start having more guests on.
Dude, we should do the fucking photo shoot down here. I just realized there's like plenty of space to do it.
Yeah.
Oh shit! I could just bring some lights over to it.
Yeah.
Just fucking go in that little corner right there.
But hopefully in 2018 we'll have some more guests. Weston has expressed interest in coming on.
Get Weston on the show. Hell yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I'd like to know what music stuff Weston's into.
He likes Elvis Costello.
He does?
Yeah.
Wow. I know he
Elvis-
likes Father John Misty. Do you like Father John Misty?
I haven't listened to him, but I've heard of. Jesus fucking
I just
Christ.
won't
All right.
touch my mic. I just won't touch it.
Yeah.
I just won't do this.
And on that note of what's to come in the new year, we hope everybody had a great end of 2017, and here is to continued success and progress in the new year 2018. So have a good one, guys, and we'll see you next time. Bye bye.